he also started having a similar diet to her. He is also diabetic, but it was well within control for him. So he started having this millet kanji, which they were having in the morning and afternoon. It was very simple food, but basically it was majority, about 75% was this millets. So I would say about 3 to 4 months later, after they started this diet, both of them reached out to me for completely different reasons. So the wife told me her HbA1c, which we had brought down to very good control and she was very happy, etc., had shot up to like a point or two, and she was very surprised. She said, I'm eating the right kind of things. I don't know what's going on. And the husband told me, my thyroid levels have gone like really high. They like doubled within the 6 months in which we have been speaking to you.
Oh my God.
So I said, what was the change? Because the medications were the same, the lifestyle was the change. So I was asking, what was the food? And they said the diet was the major thing which we changed in these last 6 months, and they shared this with me. So then I asked him, so are you having the millet kanji also every day? He said, yes, because I didn't have a choice, because both of us are only there and it was easier to just have the same thing which he has. And unfortunately for him, it became a goitrogenic thing because the way in which he was preparing it was not suitable for him. And in her case, the millet which he was using, it contained a lot of ragi, which sometimes can increase the sugar, because it's naturally a little more sweeter.
Yes. I've also heard that, yeah.
Correct. As compared to the other millets. So in this case, what had happened is, in our understanding, in her case, the kapha had completely gone out of balance. And in him, the vata had gone out of balance. So they both said, they themselves said, I didn't even tell them this, they said, oh my God, I think we made a mistake of suddenly changing over like this. And I asked them, so do you add something to it, etc.? They said, no, because we both have cholesterol, we were not adding ghee, we were not adding anything into it. It was just mixed with water and we were having it.
Oh my God.
So this is definitely not something which worked for either of them. So there are cases like this where we see that, you know, if you suddenly change over like that, and many cases, like in our household itself, we have a combination of people, different prakritis, etc. And we did try to make different kinds of rotis. So every day, one day we'll have jawar roti, one day we'll have bajra roti, one day we'll have wheat roti. Like that, we have a combination. So when bajra roti is made for continuously 3 to 5 days, then immediately people will start saying, oh, I'm experiencing so much burning sensation. I'm not sure why that's happening, etc. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, this methodology of change is important, but it also needs to be carefully monitored, because if you suddenly change like that, even in few days, if you can see the difference, if people change over and you see it after a year or so, it'll be quite a difference. So that's why it's important that we introduce it in the right way and make sure it's suitable for them. So the follow-up after 15 days, 1 month, etc. is very important for us to understand how the body is taking it, how the body is reacting to it.
Correct.
Before you can make that complete change.
Correct. Just to have the clarification for some of our viewers, you mentioned goitrogenic. So can you just explain what is goitrogenic for the education?
Yes. So goitrogenic means something which affects the functionality of the thyroid gland. Many millets in their raw form, specifically, if you take them in excess, they have these effects. Certain studies have shown the correlation between those two. Some say it's not so effective, and some say, no, it is something which definitely has an effect, so you have to be careful. And among the millets also, certain come at a higher level, certain come at a lower level, but generally they do have this effect if you take them for a long period of time in the raw form. Which is why it's important to either dry roast it, soak it,
so that we get rid of the anti-nutritional factors from it.
And similarly, this Vatakarak aspect, which we did speak about in this couple itself, In that, we spoke about how addition of ghee, fats, the right kind of fats is important to make it more suitable. So it's very important that when we know that there are certain, everything comes with a pro and con. So if you see that there are so many pros, there will be a few cons too. So how do we overcome that? By changing the methodology of usage, changing the combinations, etc. Because nothing is completely bad or completely good. So we need to make the right choice.
Right choices. Yeah. Something very interesting actually I came to know few days back is about ragi mudde. Getting a little bit off the topic, but they say traditionally in Karnataka, they just take the bite of ragi mudde and they have to gulp it. They don't chew it. So I was not able to, gulp it directly. I was chewing it. So one of our colleagues, he told that the scientific reason behind it is when you chew ragi, it can have shoot in your glycemic index. It can have insulin spike in your gut. So that is why maybe when you just gulp it, then it won't spike your insulin, which you were also saying that ragi can have that kind of effect.
First time I tried ragi mudde too, I didn't know how to eat it. I didn't come from here, and they had served it on the plate and it was this brown little thing, and I was like, what do I do with this? So my friend said you have to swallow it. But the natural instinct for us is to chew on it. So then I was talking to, certain traditional people who love, my husband loves this combination. And I was like, how can you love something which you have to swallow like that? So then he was saying, no, the reason why they did that, of course, one, the scientific reason is what you explained, but the traditional reason was they all used to be agriculturalists who used to work on the farm. So when they don't chew it and they swallow it whole, it keeps them full for a very long period of time, because it takes its time in digesting and it gives that sustained energy for a long period of time. So when you think about it that way, even these traditional preparations which they have are pretty amazing of how they've catered to the needs of the individual while preparing the recipe.
They are quite intelligent and well thought and designed like that.
I just want to say there are 3 people in this room who don't know how to eat ragi mudde. I also chew it.
I also chew it.
I didn't know the reason to. It's quite insightful, this discussion.
Yeah. I see people just gulp it. I'm like, I tried gulping it, but then I was like, she gave me with this chana sambar. So I was like, this chana will also be gulped. So I have to chew it, but people just gulp it.
They put it in that saru and then they literally swallow it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of moisturized by dipping in that, and then you just swallow it.
For easy swallow.
Yeah. What's your personal favorite millet or millet recipe which you would like to tell our viewers?
Oh, okay. That's a tough one. I have unfortunately not had the opportunity to work or cook with much millet. I started cooking much later in life, and now I can make anything under the sun thanks to our global audience, I feel. I think we can learn so much more when we look at these YouTube videos and, you get to learn new recipes which you want to try. One personal favorite of mine, which I think was a traditional practice in my home, and we still practice it. Even for my daughter, I have done it. When we switch over, when you start introducing new food to a child, right? The Annaprashana, as they call it. So there are different cereals which you use. And one of the major ones which is used in the southern part of India is ragi. So you soak it, you extract the milk, and then you cook it. And it's very, very light and very simple, because the fiber is something that the child can't take at that stage. Though now they do, after a point, they do sprout them and then they grind it and they do use it. But originally this was how it was done. They used to extract the milk, remove the fiber, and then cook it and give. So this is something which, I really like, because when you see that, it looks like this beautiful golden yellow colored porridge, which is so soothing and so nice. And there are certain traditional recipes which also use a similar thing, I think, in the Konkan belt, where they use it as a kanji, and it's supposed to be used particularly in peak summer, because it's so nourishing, it's so soothing, it's so cooling.
Yeah.
So they use that. Similarly, my personal favorite, of course, as I mentioned, is makki ki roti and sarson ka saag. And I also love the bajra roti. I think it's so fabulous.
Wow.
Recently, I have been introduced to other recipes in which we use, like the jawar meals. Like I remember when in childhood, when we used to come to Karnataka, my father used to be like, oh, this jawar roti is such a speciality, and he used to go and have it. And I used to be like, why do you want to go have it? Because I never liked that combination of that with curd, peanut chutney and curd. It was too spicy for me. But now I crave for it so much because I understand that why you need that butter which goes on top of the jawar roti, and why that peanut chutney and curd is so important, because that unctuousness which comes with the curd is definitely something which adds flavor to it.
Yeah.
So I think you learn along the way. And now I'm realizing that even these millet kitchens which I was talking about, I definitely want to try the cookies and the pastries. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, I went to a setup where they were selling these millet cookies. They were so tasty. Ragi cookies, jawar cookies. It was so nice. It was not even so drying because they put the right amount of butter and ghee, and it was really good.
Yes.
So I think lots of recipes can come up with millets, and people are doing that to make them very tasty, very new age in a sense, which we can definitely use.
Yes, I came across this ragi manne lately and I loved it. It's like sweet and very soothing kind of. They extract the ragi and they add water and they cook it with maybe ghee or something. It's very delicious. I liked it. Really, I think in South India only they cook it. I have not came across it in North India, in my state, in Chhattisgarh, anywhere.
That was the one which I was talking about. It's called Ragi Manni only, that Konkan belt where they extract the milk and cook it.
Extraction.
It's a speciality of the summer season, because they have such hot summers and they want something which soothes and you know, makes them feel really good.
Yeah.
So they make that.
Yes. it's made in liquid form, drinkable. Also a semi-solid form. It becomes like halwa.
Jelly halwa.
Like a custard.
Yes. Somewhere I went and they served it chilled. So I was like, why are they serving it chilled? They're like, it is served chilled only. It's like, okay, fine. I ate it like that, but I relished it. I love that. Takeaway from the answer you just gave is like, right knowledge at right point of time with right application is the key. What can be the right educational initiatives to propagate and for making people aware about millets?
Nutrition itself has become a very important topic which everybody wants to know about, because people are realizing, like, if you have the right kinds of foods, like I'm seeing it in the people I'm talking to. Even the choices which they make for their children, I'm seeing, it's quite interesting.
Yes.
So they're like, no, we want to give them the perfect lifestyle, the perfect kind of foods, etc. And you do have lots of unfortunate conditions which also require that they change their diet at such a stage. So in those cases, I definitely feel that this is something which should be introduced right from school. Like in school, I think they already have so much in their syllabus and all of that. But surely personalized nutrition and a little bit of Ayurveda, because I feel that this sensation or meaning of how the body reacts to the food which you eat and how you experience it is something very different from the usual content of the food and all of that.
Exactly.
So I definitely feel that a little bit, maybe through workshops or just giving them like a chance of a competition of creating a new recipe for slightly like in the middle school, because we do have a cooking class. I remember in school we had a cooking without fire and then a little bit of cooking with fire with the teachers being there. Maybe we should start introducing the millets there itself, so that not only is the child exposed to it from a younger age, they kind of know what is good, what is not, and in homes also. Now it's not even any gender specific. Everybody is willing to cook, go into the kitchen, try new things, etc. Maybe through social media, small workshop, showing them how to do it, because this is another problem. Many people are like, we can see the recipe written, but we really don't know how to do it. So probably like having like simple workshops where people are willing to go. Like if you say a baking workshop, everyone will go. So if you say a millet baking workshop, I'm so more people
that
will
would
go.
be so interesting actually.
Absolutely. So you can say even like traditional recipes from different parts of India, how you use specific millets and combinations. So these are, I think, exciting ways in which we can involve the population in general from the elderly, because they already have this traditional knowledge. But I would say one generation above till the younger generation now, who have kind of moved away from this and are looking for good options. These may be great ways, because this is one of the most easy ways through which we can involve people. And once people get excited about it, it'll go viral.
Yes.
And that's what I think is the easiest way.
With the little tadka of the knowledge of Ayurveda as well.
Yes.
So that they can again bring best of both the worlds.
Yes.
Final question, which is, what is the future of millets according to you?
Definitely, now that we are realizing the importance of millets, it's going to become a very important part of the cuisines across the world. And knowing the properties, knowing the effects which it has on our body is very important. Through these podcasts, through these knowledge sessions, we are trying to put it out there about the importance and what the effects are, etc. So definitely they're going to be a game changer, because there are going to probably in the future be products which say, oh, this is something which is specifically curated to improve the iron in an individual, versus this is curated to help with the calcium. So like bone health or hair health, nail health, skin health. So I think millets can be used in a wide range of issues, because they have a lot of specific inherent properties, but the combinations, the way in which we can bring those out and make them helpful would definitely be the way forward. But again, it's important to remember that millets are only one food group, and that takeaway is very important, that you include them. But don't forget your others either, because we don't want this to repeat again. I think we can see it happening, that first you have something which we know is so beautiful, so nutrient rich, so good for the body, and that knowledge is lost. And then it comes back in a cycle where we realize, oh, this is important. When already it was there.
It was already there. We only lost it, and now we are trying to revive it again.
Correct. So I think the traditional practices which have been there, people are still following that. So we should tap onto those and make those global, so people realize what those are, why those are there. And I think that's also a step forward to make millets more, easily accessible to people. And it is easily accessible. There's no problem with that, because it's always been there. But it's important that we understand that it's a cereal, it's part of our meal, and we learn how to use it before we start using it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Such an insightful and powerful session it was. We learned from why we should include in our diets, and how we can include it in our diet, how to process it, what right combinations we can take, and we should consider it not just a single one-stop solution or destination. We should just consider it as a part of food group, and we should make our diet diverse. We should try incorporating it slow if we are trying to change it. If we want to go a long way, we should start slow, start low, and then gradually grow. Thank you so much, Dr. Madhumitha.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I think when we try to combine traditional knowledge with the knowledge which we have, it really gives a new perspective. And as we were having a conversation, we realized how much more is there to discuss. So I thank Bhrsa and Shweta also for this opportunity, and I definitely hope that this goes a long way.
First one.
Good job. No problem at all.
It was so amazing. Like whatever I have studied is like self-study. I didn't have any guidance. To save my life, I had to throw my hands in, because they also diagnosed that I would be getting cancer.
Oh God.
Because I had lumps at the neck, at the jawline and everything, and during COVID, peak COVID. And they told me, let's wait for 2 months so that, we get a clarity on what it is. Basically grow it and get a clarity. So it's been quite a journey. So my knowledge is all, self
Yes.
hustle.
Same. But self hustle.
Yeah, but it was really nice to hear from you.
Yes.
With so much
When
knowledge.
she talks on
Yeah.
class also same, I get to know so many things. I've just like little bit we have here and there knowledge through self education, but when we talk to people like her,
No, honestly, we need more people like you.
yes.
I'm glad. I'm happy that it was useful. Thank you for the opportunity. I should thank her. She reached out and she said, I need you.